morning, dear students. Welcome back once again. Myself, Kavita Deshpande. I am your SST teacher and I am from Pratibha International School. How are you, students? I hope you all are fine, safe, and healthy at home and taking all the necessary precautions for your health. Take care of yourself, student. Take care of your family members too. Eat healthy food. Wash your hands regularly. Drink boiled water twice in a day. Stay home and stay safe, students. Okay, students, so let's start our today's session. Today I would like to explain a new chapter. Before we going to start our today's session, I would like to ask some questions related to this topic. Look at this picture, student. Now tell me, can you imagine a day without water? Can you imagine your life without water? And what will happen if taps run dry? If rivers and lakes dry up, how would we carry out our daily activities without water? Can you imagine? No, we cannot imagine our life without water, right, student? We cannot imagine our day without water. But why? Because water is essential for the existence of all life forms on earth, right, student? Water is essential for numerous human activities and for the development of the nation. So today we are going to learn a new chapter, that is water. That is lesson number 5 of geography, and the name of the lesson is water. In this lesson what we are going to learn, student? In this lesson we are going to learn about the importance of water. We will learn about the process of water cycle and we will learn about the major water bodies. So let's start our today's session. Water cannot be replaced and is essential for the existence of all life forms on earth. The presence of water makes earth a unique planet. It also connects living organisms in an ecosystem. Water is essential for numerous human activities and for the development of the nation. And the most essential purpose of the water is for drinking, right, student? So safe drinking water and basic sanitation can prevent water related diseases like diarrhea. Diarrhea which kills 1.6 million people annually and is mainly caused by drinking impure water. So improved water supply can reduce mortality rate. Mortality means death on large scale. So improved water supply can reduce mortality rate by 20% and improved sanitation. It cuts it by 37.5%. Now the next important key elements of this lesson, that is global availability of water. We called Earth as a blue planet, right, student? We are aware about it. Now why we called Earth as a blue planet? Because most of the Earth's surface is covered with water, right? Besides drinking, water is used for washing, cooking, right, student? Water is also used for irrigation process. What is irrigation? Irrigation means supplying water to the crops. So water is also used to irrigate crops and lawns, again to clean houses and to operate heating systems. Most industries need water to operate, right, student? And the most of the part of the earth is covered with water and most of it is saline. Saline means salty. So here we understood the global availability of water. Now we will see water cycle in nature. Yes, student, you are aware about the water cycle process also. Already in the previous class you taught it. Again one more time we will revise water cycle process. Now what is water cycle? The movement of water from the hydrosphere to the atmosphere and then to the lithosphere and biosphere and back to the hydrosphere is known as water cycle. Yes, hydrosphere is related to water, atmosphere is related to air, lithosphere is related to land, and biosphere where all these spheres are existed. Right, student? So the movement of water from the hydrosphere to the atmosphere and then to lithosphere and biosphere and back to hydrosphere is known as water cycle. Water cycle is one of the nature's most important process. Here how water evaporates from the surface of the earth, then rises into the atmosphere, cools and condenses into rain or snow in clouds, and fall again to the surface as precipitation. This is the process of water cycle, right student? So water cycle is one of the nature's most important process. Here water evaporates into the atmosphere, then falls on earth as rain or snow, and flows back into the ocean to begin the cycle again. So here energy to keep the cycle moving smoothly comes from the sun. Now what is the, just look at the diagram of this water cycle here student. Here see, you can see precipitation, condensation, evaporation. Yes students. So rain is the primary source of fresh water. It feeds rivers, lakes and groundwater resources, which are secondary source of water, right? Now what is the primary source of fresh water? Right, rain is the primary source of fresh water, and it feeds river, lakes and groundwater resources, which are the secondary sources of water. The journey of water starts as it evaporates from the saline ocean and seas and enters the atmosphere as vapor to form clouds, right? Then clouds then cool, condense and finally precipitate in the form of rain, hail or snow over the land. And this natural process brings to us the fresh or sweet water that brings life to the earth. Now the next important key elements we will see, that is water conservation. Now steps whichever taken for water conservation are: first one, that is practice rainwater harvesting. Second one, fix leaky taps and don't let them run when not in use. Yes, most of the time this happen. The leaky taps we are not repairing and water goes wastage. So we should have to fix leaky taps and don't let the water waste. Don't immerse. Immerse means deep or submerge idol or floral offerings in water bodies. Next, don't wash clothes or bath animals in local water bodies. It polluted water. Yes. Then don't throw garbage or other materials into water bodies. Plant more and more trees and spread awareness among people. These are the steps for the water conservation through which we can conserve water. Now next important key elements, that is ocean water. Oceans make up 71% of the earth's surface and are connected to each other. Oceanic waters are interspersed, means it is scattered among with many smaller marine bodies like sea, gulf, bays. Okay, what is bays? It means a broad inlet of the sea where the land curves inward. And what is gulf? Look at the picture student here. Gulf, it's a deep inlet of the sea almost surrounded by land with a narrow mouth. So oceanic waters are interspersed with many smaller marine bodies like seas, gulfs and bays. So the oceans make up 71% of the earth's surface and are connected to each other. Now the next important key element, that is movement of water. Students, have you been to a beach and watch seawater curling into an arch form and breaking on the shore in the forms of waves? Arch means rounded. Yes, have you been to a beach student and watched the seawater curling into an arch form and breaking on the shore in the forms of waves? Yes, did you enjoy these waves? Yes, I know students, you all have been to a beach and enjoyed waves, right? So waves are formed when energy is transferred from molecule to molecule. Molecule, it means a small particle across the surface of the ocean. So how these waves are formed? Waves are formed when energy is transferred from molecule to molecule across the surface of the ocean, and the water molecules hardly move. It is the energy that actually moves, As waves break across a shore or crash in violent storms, they cause great turbulence in ocean water. Turbulence means it's a movement. Now the next one, that is tsunami. Sometimes earthquake or volcanic activities deep down in the ocean floors give rise to gigantic waves. Gigantic means huge waves, and these waves are called as tsunami. They are like gigantic walls of water which travel at a great speed, and these are extremely dangerous and destructive waves and cause large scale damage when they hit coastal regions. Look at this picture, student, how it is very dangerous. It's extremely dangerous and destructive waves, and it cause large scale damage when they hit coastal regions. Now next one, that is ocean currents. Now what are ocean currents? Ocean currents are like large rivers flowing within the ocean. Yes, currents are like large rivers flowing within the ocean from one place to another. They move in a clockwise direction in northern hemisphere and in an anti-clockwise direction in southern hemisphere. This is because the earth is spherical in shape and rotates eastward. This makes water and winds deflect to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in southern hemisphere. This is known as Coriolis effect. Okay, this effect is known as Coriolis effect. Here map it is showing the ocean current. Now there are certain factors that cause and influence the direction of ocean currents. These factors are, first one is difference in temperature. Second one is difference in salinity. Salinity, it means the quality of being saline, means saltiness. Okay. Next is Earth's rotation. Then planetary winds. Planetary winds, we also call it as a global winds. Yes, that is the winds pattern that arise because of air convection. And the last one, that is shapes of coastline. These are the certain factors that cause and influence the direction of ocean currents. Now the next point, that is warm and cold currents. Now what are warm ocean currents, student? Yes, ocean currents that move from the equator to the poles. Keep in mind, the ocean currents that move from the equator to the poles, these are called as warm ocean currents. And the example of this, the Gulf Stream, which washes the shores of the Gulf of Mexico. Second one, that is cold ocean current. Ocean currents that move from the poles to the equator. See, totally opposite to the warm ocean current. Warm ocean current here, ocean current that moves from the equator to the poles, and in cold ocean currents, the ocean currents that move from the poles to the equator. These are called as cold ocean currents. And the example of cold ocean current is the cold. Yes, the example of it is the cold Peruvian current, which washes the western shores of South America. Warm ocean currents are light and flow along the surface of the ocean. They move about 40% of the heat from the equator to the poles. They modify means change the temperature of places they flow close to, and when winds blow across warm currents, their temperature increases. This enables them to absorb huge amount of moisture which they shed as they blow across. And cold ocean currents are dense and flow below the surface of ocean. They reduce the air temperature of places they flow close to, and coastal deserts form in this manner. The Atacama Desert in South America is one such example of cold ocean current. Look at the picture of this Atacama Desert in South America. This is the example of cold ocean currents, right, student? Now the next point, that is economic importance of ocean currents. Yes, first one, that is the places where warm and cold currents meet create ideal condition for fish to breed into huge population, thereby causing valuable fishing grounds to develop. This is the first economic important. It is the So where warm and cold currents meet, these places create ideal condition for fish to breed into huge population, and it is also valuable for fishing grounds to develop. Second point, that is ships that sail along the ocean currents get the advantage of moving faster, thereby saves time, money and fuel. These are the economic importance of ocean currents. Now next important key element, that is tides. The periodic rise and fall on the sea level, usually twice a day in a particular place, is known as tide. Now what is tide, student? It means the periodic rise and fall of the sea level, usually twice a day in a particular place, is known as tides. Now tides are caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun and the earth's rotation. When the gravity of the moon pulls the earth at a particular location, high tide occurs. Okay, and when it releases its pull, the water level comes down and low tide occurs. So students understand high tide and low tide, difference between the high tide and the low tide. Yes, and how these tides are caused? The tides are caused by the gravitational pull of sun, moon and the earth's rotation. And when the gravity of the moon pulls the earth at a particular location, that time high tide occurs. And when it releases its pull, that time the water level comes down and low tide, and that time low tides occur. Okay. Exceptionally high tides are caused during the full moon and new moon days. Such tides are called as spring tides. On the other hand, when the moon is in its first and the last quarter, exceptionally low tides occur, and these are called as neap tides. So what is neap tides and what is spring tides, students? Spring tides means high tides are caused during the full moon and the new moon day. Such tides are called as spring tides. And on the other hand, when the moon is in its first and the last quarter, exceptionally that time low tides occur, and these are called as neap tides. Okay. Now the last important key elements of this lesson, that is the importance of tides. Tides have great commercial importance, especially for fishing and shipping industries. Okay. Heavy freighters can enter shallow ports only at high tide and when the water is deepest. Second, fishing boats are also subject to the rise and fall of tidal waters. Third, that is tidal energy, which can be harnessed during high tide, is an eco-friendly source of energy which never gets exhausted. So what are the importance of tides, students? Here's the heavy freighters. Freighters, it means the transport of goods in bulk. Okay, so the heavy transport of goods in bulk can enter shallow ports only at high tide. Okay, when the water is deepest. Second, it is important, tides are important for fishing boats. Okay. And third one, that is tidal energy, which can be harnessed during high tide, and it is eco-friendly source of energy which never gets exhausted. These are the importance of tides. So what we learned in this lesson, student? We learned in this lesson about the importance of water. We understand the global availability of water, and we understood the water cycle process, right, student? We understand the importance of water conservation and movements of water, in which we understand about waves, tsunami, oceanic currents, right, student? And we understood the difference between the warm and cold currents. We understand tides, what are tides, and the importance of tides. So here we cover up this lesson, student. I hope you all understand this lesson very nicely. If you have any doubt related to this lesson, you have to drop mail on the given mail ID, which I already provided to you, that is the 8bct@pratibhaintschool.org. This is my school mail ID, student. So whatever doubts you have related to SST or related to the topics which I taught you, you have to send mail on this given mail ID. On every Saturday there will be doubt clearing session, so your doubts will be clarified on Saturday. and SST related assignment, your solved worksheet also you have to send on this mail ID. Okay, each lesson wise you are getting the worksheet student through Prism. Please you have to solve it and send it through send it on this mail ID. Again, assignment, please note it down related to this lesson. What you have to do student, you have to draw water cycle. Okay, you have to draw a diagram of water cycle and you have to label it. Okay, and you have to send this assignment on my given mail ID, that is the 8bct@pratibhaintschool.org. I hope you all are clear with today's session. Your doubts, all doubts are cleared with it. If you have any doubt, please send it on that mail ID. Okay, and don't forget to comment as it's going to consider your attendance student. Please write comments without fail. Okay, simply write your name, standard, division and mention there whether you understand this topic or you didn't understand it. Okay students, so thank you and have a nice day.